I'm already juggling so many things, family and responsibilities. I don't have time to learn really all the ins and outs of podcasting, let alone produce episodes and market them.
Me too. But the beauty of podcasting is that once you set it up, it can actually save you time. We'll streamline everything so that you only spend about 30 minutes a week creating an episode. Plus, I'll show you simple automation tools to handle all the rest, making podcasting a time-efficient part of your routine.
One of the best things that men can do of, yes, having compassion and understanding, but also become a willing partner to say, hey, listen, I can take on some different responsibilities. I can look at what it is in the household or what it is with our family dynamics, step up in different ways so that women can really viscerally experience it's okay to prioritize your self-care and your health and wellness in a new way that you maybe haven't done for decades.
Has your life, your dreams been interrupted? Good news. It is possible to reinvent our lives. People are doing it every day, and some are brave enough to share the struggles, disappointments, and challenges. If you are looking for a new beginning, a do-over, or to rediscover your passion, maybe even find a new one, then grab a cup of coffee and let's talk. Interrupted, Act 2, Reinventing Your Legacy, with your host, Coach Lori.
Functional medicine health coach and best-selling author Amanda Hinman specializes in helping successful women between the ages of 40 and 60 who are struggling with hormone, mood, and gut imbalance to heal naturally and gain 3 hours of energy daily so they feel fantastic. Amanda is the founder of the Thyroid Hormone Solution Program, which has helped hundreds of women beat Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, insulin resistance, anxiety, hypertension, brain fog, weight gain, and oh, so much more. Amanda Hinman, welcome.
Thank you, Lori. I'm excited to be here.
We're talking about interruptions, but let's start with how awesome your life is right now. You've written a book, you have this amazing program. Tell us about it.
Yes, thank you. So I have the best-selling book, The Thyroid Hormone Solution, and it's really built on the work that I've been doing supporting women over the age of 40 for the past several years, the Thyroid Hormone Solution Program. So it's all about helping women who want to supercharge their energy, really balance the hormone, mood, and gut symptoms so that they have restful sleep, so that their bodies stay healthy and vibrant, and metabolic health, get rid of all of the headaches, all of the anxiety, skin irritations, the bloating, the things that can kind of come with when our hormones change and things aren't as fun. We want to get rid of those symptoms and help you feel absolutely fantastic in your body.
I was just listening to a true crime podcast called Crime Analyst Laura Richards. I absolutely adore her. And she was having a chat with a man about men's responsibility in femicide. And like, is it to just sit back and be kind to women, or is it to stand up? But what was so interesting to me is what she went to was the whole idea of hormones and menopause, that even that hasn't been studied the way it should. Yes. Because of, and it's not like beating up men at all, but it's just, we'll study men, we'll do the research there. It's so interesting to me that this is what you're focusing on and how important it is and how untalked about it is.
Well, this is like the new wave of health conversation, right? Because so much data that had been collected for decades was primarily done on males. And so it was just assumed that it would be applicable and translatable for women, but obviously we know it's not. Women's bodies are different, our hormone levels are very different, so our experience is different. And luckily we do live in a time where there's now this plethora of research and conversation and new awareness that's coming to the surface about how to support women and what women can do for themselves. And I just actually want to add on to what you're saying about that conversation of how men can support women during this time of change, because what I find time and time again, working to support, like I said, hundreds of different women that are going through health challenges in their 40s, their 50s, early 60s, the number one saboteur is their women's relationship with time, is the perception of, I don't have the time, I don't have the capacity, there's so many other things that I take care of or that I manage or that are priority in my life, whether it be kids, ailing parents, career, households. What dropped in when you were explaining is one of the best things that men can do of, yes, having compassion and understanding, but also become a willing partner to say, hey, listen, I can take on some different responsibilities. I can look at, maybe what it is in the household or what it is with our family dynamics and step up in different ways so that women can really viscerally experience it's okay to prioritize your self-care and your health and wellness in a new way that you maybe haven't done for decades.
There's a podcaster here. Her name is Wonderful. She's kind of had this renewal. She's later in life, younger than me, but she said, how come nobody ever told me about this hormone thing? How come I never knew? And here she's this active businesswoman doing amazing work, helping so many women. And yet it wasn't until she was able to take this step backwards, let go of things and go, wait a minute, besides self-care, this is even bigger maybe than self-care.
It is. It impacts your performance, your ability to focus, to mentally be creative, to be on point and sharp. It affects everything in your life when your hormones are running havoc in the body, if you will.
Well, I can see that you're so passionate about this work. Tell us what your interruption was that brought you here.
Yeah, it was definitely a divine redirection. It wasn't necessarily a path I would have chosen for myself, but this goes back over 15 years ago. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's thyroiditis during my 4th pregnancy. And Lori, at that time, I remember actually candidly being in denial, and I was quite angry when my doctor, gave me the diagnosis and said, yes, you have an autoimmune condition. That means your body is attacking itself and you have to take this medication. You'll be on it for the rest of your, because I was like, for how long? And he's like, oh, for the rest of your life, we have to support your thyroid. And once you have one autoimmune diagnosis, you're at a much greater risk to have additional ones in the coming years. I self-identified as somebody who was very healthy. I was checking all of the boxes. I was eating salads and smoothies, and I taught cardio kickbox classes every week. So I thought I was doing the things that equated to optimal health. And yet here I was with this autoimmune diagnosis. The first thought was one of a little bit of rejection and denial of like, this can't be right. This has got to be right. Continued to work with a naturopathic doctor, ran a whole bunch of expensive lab work and tests, and was given a list of about 9 different supplements to start taking and foods to eliminate and cut out of my diet permanently. And so I dove in right away and was like, okay, I'm going to solve this. This is a problem. I'm going to kind of attack it. My symptoms, some of them got a little bit better. My acne on my chin and stuff cleared up for a little bit. My mood improved slightly, but my sleep, I still had really bad insomnia, like terrible racing mind. I definitely still struggled with like digestive distress and bloating and low energy. Like my energy was just crashed. Kind of like as a little bit of improvement, but it wasn't notable enough. And then my daughter, a few months after my diagnosis, she had always been a highly sensitive girl, sharp, witty 8-year-old girl. She started to have her anxiety exasperate to the point where she was having 10 to 15 sometimes seizures in a day, Lori. And when I tell you, nothing brings you to your knees faster as a mom than to see your child suffer and struggle. Like I thought her life was at risk in many different scenarios. When we went back and had all of the testing, the EEGs and the pediatric neurologists at Children's Hospital, specialists that are highly trained and skilled doctors told us that there was no discernible cause, that sometimes, just like my autoimmune, sometimes these things are hereditary. And she would likely need to be on medication. She was taking 4 different benzodiazepine medications simultaneously just to make it through a 24-hour period without having a seizure. And she would need to be on medication to manage this. She would never be able to drive a car, all of these things. And every fiber in my being was like, this cannot be her future. This cannot be the whole story. There has to be more that we just don't understand. What's going on with her body, why my body started to attack itself. And that's when I went back to school to study functional medicine. And functional medicine is all about looking at the root cause, like upstream, where our body systems, our immune system, our endocrine system, our cardiovascular system, all of these systems are connected. And what is that root cause, that blockage, that impairment, or that depletion that's causing these downstream effects, these downstream symptoms? So in both cases, her case and my case, it was really a matter of a couple different things. nutrients that were depleted. We didn't have enough of some key nutrients to detoxify the body of hormones, in her case, stress hormones. In my case, I didn't have enough nutrients to detoxify excess estrogen that was blocking thyroid function in my body. Also, nervous system balance. So our nervous systems were just hyperstimulated to be in that fight or flight or freeze side, that sympathetic side of the nervous system. No one had ever taught me this. Like I never learned that when I was learning to teach cardio kickbox and to eat salads. I never learned any of these factors for specific nutrients, and also what was really at play in the bigger picture of the body. The cool thing was that journey led us to complete 180 transformation. I mean, she was able to wean off of every medication, has been seizure free ever since. She's now a sophomore in college on a full ride scholarship to Notre Dame. I got off my medication, my autoimmune is in remission, have been managing that, keeping up with strong health, keeping up with really good digestion, awesome sleep, like feeling just empowered in my body because I know how to work with my body now, right? So it's like how to partner and to collaborate once you understand what your body needs.
And I think we all want to learn from somebody who's been there, done that.
Yeah.
And has a story to share.
And it's like, because I can relate, right? It's not always easy. It's especially when you're making these tweaks and these adjustments. I mean, there's definitely periods of time where it's like, you don't know if it's working or if this is the right approach. And it's easy to continuously find more and more things that are going wrong with your body, right? So I think a huge part of the learning in my book and in my program with clients, we go through 5 steps. The first step, looking at what's the root cause and helping to understand your body uniquely and specifically. Second is replenishing those key nutrients, getting in more of what your cells need so that they can do their job as designed. Then we look at restoring digestive fire, because a lot of times even if we're eating, like when I was eating salads, I was eating a lot of healthy foods, but they weren't actually getting digested and absorbed at a cellular level because of the gut microbiome, so we have to look at that digestive capacity. And then the other piece is looking at resetting your thinking, knowing where your own thoughts are leading to emotions of overwhelm or anxiety or fear that trigger that fight or flight response chronically in your body. How can you reframe your thoughts and your beliefs? How can you really recognize where you're setting off the alarm bells to your body's physiology so you can start to calm that response? And then finally, the step 5 is removing toxins so that you don't overburden the system with too much toxic buildup that's going to block things.
I love that you got this diagnosis and you basically said, yeah, I don't think so. You searched it out, because one of the things I see with the women in the age group I deal with, it's really easy for them to be at an age where they just accept medical conditions or they accept retirement. And it's so interesting because so many people I know at my age are starting over. They're doing new things. And it's so wonderful to be healthy enough to do those new things and to take responsibility. And again, our generation wasn't told, we didn't know, and we were told to be quiet. So I love that this newer generation is coming up and saying, let's talk about this. And I think it's so valuable, so needed. And it hurts my heart to think, man, I didn't tell my daughter because I didn't know. How do you pass on what you don't know? Getting curious and finding out what we can do, especially if we have a diagnosis. And my daughter-in-law had an autoimmune, and she was able to turn it around a lot by changing the way she was eating and her lifestyle. So we know it can happen. We know it can be done. And I love it that you're on this crusade. I've written a book. We can make this happen. Let's do the work.
Yes. It's getting inspired, having knowledge, having the practical support to put it into action. So consistently make those choices. We mentioned before, like the number one saboteur that gets in the way is our relationship with time, the feeling that we don't have the time to stop and take those meditation rest breaks, or that we don't have the time to prioritize moving your body in a way that feels healthy and feels inspiring and lifts you up. It's really about diving deeper into like, what is your relationship with your time and with your priorities in life? So absolutely. This is, and you mentioned something, Lori, about that reinventing yourself, right? Finding that second season in life. And I'm doing a workshop here coming up because health is wealth. And there's a direct correlation. I see it time and time again. When women put attention and prioritization on their own health and vitality and becoming empowered to collaborate with their bodies instead of fight against them, that always translates into increased wealth. And wealth in areas of wealth of relationships and fulfilling connection in your life, a wealth of finances. I can't tell you how many women have gone on to expand their business income, to have new job opportunities open up, to be more influential and assertive in their current team dynamics so that they're more successful because they're just showing up as a more alive version of themselves. Other women who've saved $5,000 on a canceled surgery because their body was able to detoxify that. They had a lumpectomy scheduled, my client Melissa, because she had a lump on her breast. And once we got her body working, it naturally removed and got everything into balance. So she, not only the mental anguish of having to go through a surgery and procedure, she was financially able to save real dollars. There's a true correlation that when you put your health at the forefront, so many areas of your life are amplified in terms of your wealth.
That is so true. And you talked about support. So you talked about a spousal support. How do you support women? If someone wants to work with you, what does that look like?
Yeah, that's great questions. I partner with women for 5 months in my Thyroid Hormone Solution Program, and it really is this holistic approach. It's going to be some knowledge-based learning, so you're learning more specifically about what's going on in your body and how these things work, in addition to real-time practical strategies. Okay, let's break this down so there's not a sense of overwhelm. We can help you, like priority number 1, we're going to focus on this given, depending on what a scenario is. Like, for example, I'm going to give a client that I'm working with now. Her name is Debbie, and she came to me really low energy. She had some osteopenia that her doctor had identified, and she's like, I know I'm just kind of like barreling through the day, my work day, and then just crash by 4 p.m. because my body, it's not getting what it needs to keep up this pattern and this routine. I'm just kind of making myself plow through with a couple cups of coffee and then crashing at the end. And her body was starting to show the signs, right? She had bloating, she had put on weight, she had osteopenia. She already knew that the warning signs are there. So for her, one of the very first things that we looked at her lab work to see where are her cells undernourished, what specific amino acids, what specific nutrients, so that she doesn't have to, let's be honest, we live in the information age. There's no lack of health recipes and health information out there. In fact, it's so pervasive, it can be overwhelming that it just becomes distracting. But when you have somebody sit down with you and say, for your body right now, you need to focus on these 4 things, it's more doable. It's like, oh, I can cut out the noise. I know what to prioritize, where to give my attention. That, and honestly, for her, it was getting inadequate hydration. She was not nearly getting in enough liquid water, clean, good water with some electrolytes in. Those 2 things, she ended up in a matter of 10 weeks, she dropped 12 pounds. She massively charged up her energy. And she's like, I can't tell you, like, it's just a priority of like, now I know what my body needs. So I'm giving it what it needs. And it's responding, like it's working better. So it's having clarity of a game plan. I partner with my clients and we talk via a messaging app every single week. So you're never alone. You're never getting lost and sidetracked or left to say, hey, go do all these things and come back and we'll recheck your labs in 3 months. Usually I find that strategy doesn't necessarily get executed successfully because it's too many big steps left to your own devices. So I'm all about breaking it down, making it simple, holding your hand and walking you through the process so that you see evidence of change. And we do a symptom check-in every 3 months, every quarter. My clients typically see a minimum of a 72% symptom improvement in 6 months. So again, when you track the data and you're looking at it, your brain now reinforces of why these small little choices that I'm doing day in and day out actually really move the needle because they matter. It doesn't have to be super crazy complex, but if I do strategic things and do them repeatedly, it makes a big difference.
I know somebody is going, I want to work with her. How do people find you, work with you, read your book?
Yes, you can go to hinmanholistic.com, Hinman, holistic.com. That's where you can find access to my free resources. Start with my free hormone assessment first. This is where you can find what your symptoms are pointing to. They're like red flags. They're showing you, hey, where in your different hormone levels, your 6 top metabolic hormones, should you be noticing and paying attention to first. So start with that. You can get the free assessment at Hinman Holistic, as well as find out where to buy the book. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on Barnes & Noble, where to find that as resources as well. And if you're interested in learning more about how I work with women, then you can fill out an application and we can see if it's a good a good opportunity to connect and do a hormone review and see if it would be a fit to partner together.
It sounds like there's a lot of ways that you can help women. And one of the things I've really loved about chatting with you is that you tell stories, and stories, you can't lie with them. They are the truth. I love it that you have clients that have been successful and you want that for other people. Before we go, what is it that you really, really, really want us to know?
I want you to know that it's possible for you to feel amazing. Absolutely. No matter where you are, the body is constantly regenerating. So even if you've been in a pattern that doesn't feel great, or even worse, feels really miserable, it doesn't have to be the future. What I really want women to know is like, it's possible for you to feel significantly different than you do today. And it's going to take some action, some game plan, and probably some support to help you move in that direction.
I think hearing the word "it's possible," especially because you're targeting older women going through the menopause, is that I think sometimes because of ageism and all that, it's easy to not have that word. And so to think, wait, it's possible. Wait, I'm 40, it's possible. I'm 50, it's possible. I'm 60, it's possible. That's the hope I want to give women. And it sounds like the hope that you want to give.
Absolutely. I have another client, Kathy. I mean, I can't tell you how many women come to work with me when they're the year that they're turning 60. Because for whatever reason, that seems to be like a milestone. It's like, okay, I'm through raising my kids, they're out of the house, and I'm like, and now it's my time. So when women are turning 60, Kathy is the first person that's coming to mind. She was like, I want to feel better at 60 than I did for the last 15 to 20 years. And she accomplished that. She is at a lower weight than she has been in 20 years. Her body doesn't ache. She used to have to take a daily Tylenol just because of the aches and pains in her elbows and her knees. She's like, I haven't done that in over 6 months now. She's taking up activity. She's bike riding on the weekends. She lives along Lake Michigan, so she'll go for walks. She literally feels more energetic, vibrant, and renewed at age 60 than she did at age 59, age 50, even age 45. And she's like, you know what? I knew when I talked to you, I wanted that possibility. I just didn't know how to get there. And having your guidance to walk me through the process and kind of keep the blinders on, say, no, pay attention here. Don't worry about all these other things. Let's just focus here and keep it simple. She's like, I enjoyed it and it worked. I feel so much better.
And as a grandma, I want to be able to get on the floor with the grandkids and be able to get back up. And that's really important to me when some of us we're getting grandkids later in life, and to be able to be active and involved with them, that's such a value to the child. So by taking care of ourselves and saying it is possible to me, that is just a win-win.
Absolutely. Take one step forward from where you are today and say, what is that one thing that I can start with? Is it understanding my body, taking the free hormone assessment? Is it looking at what nutrients I need? Is it getting someone who's going to be my cheerleader at my corner? What is that one step that's going to help you move forward today?
Thank you so much, Amanda. It's been so great chatting with you.
My pleasure, Lori. It's so great to connect with you.
If you love this podcast, here's a big ask. Will you share with your friends and family, subscribe, give us a review, and a 5-star rating so that others looking to reinvent their lives will be able to get the